Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, there's a new president at the Kentucky Mountain Bible College. We'll introduce you to the school's new leader coming up. And the battle lines are being drawn. A look at some issues on both sides going into the upcoming midterm elections.
Plus, it's a beautiful evening here in downtown London. I've got the latest on whether this beautiful weather continues into the weekend coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts right now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The Kentucky Mountain Bible College in Breathitt County installed a new president today. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox tells us what the next president brings to the college and the community.
Dozens gathered in a chapel at Kentucky Mountain Bible College celebrating the installment of President Robert Pokai. The new era brings excitement to the campus.
There's definitely a lot of prayer made through the decision, and I believe that through that, a lot of people can have confidence in it.
Confidence in leadership during a struggling time for the area. That struggle literally hits home for Pokai. He grew up in Lost Creek, left for 20 years after graduating from KMBC to pastor elsewhere, then returned August 1st to find his hometown destroyed by floodwater.
My heart is broken for my home area that suffered such a great tragedy of not only things but loss of lives.
The timing is no coincidence for Pokai, but rather a call from God to lead through tough times.
Leadership is what kind of holds it together, and you know, it's something to be a servant leader. We're all suffering in our community right now, and so to lead by example, invest, be out there in the community, help love on people that have suffered such great tragedy. I count it the calling.
Experiences from his years at Kentucky Mountain Bible College and living in the area proved to Pokai they will overcome.
There's hope, and look, better days are yet ahead, and we believe that God is the God that can redeem and bring hope.
Pokai, along with staff and students at the college, are hoping to bring their joy to those across the region experiencing pain. In Breathitt County, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Reverend Robert Pokai is the 6th president at Kentucky Mountain Bible College, succeeding Dr. Philip Spees.
And it is a beautiful afternoon and evening here in downtown London as we are here at the World Chicken Festival. We've seen a few clouds work into the region this afternoon, but that is not hurting those temperatures at all. In fact, let's kind of go to the wide shot over to the interstate here in London, and it's beautiful there too. Plenty of blue skies, but a few of those clouds are beginning to move into the region, but we still have plenty of sunshine here this evening. A look further on, at least further out, as we look into portions of the region, we'll continue to see quiet weather throughout the mountains tonight. Temperatures in the upper 60s as we head outside at the moment. Just absolutely gorgeous conditions as we run through the evening hours tonight. We will continue to see beautiful weather. We're in the 60s at 6. Dropping into the 50s as we head towards the midnight hours. So all is looking fantastic for tonight. Satellite and radar, just a few clouds moving in, but we should stay dry as we head through the nighttime hours. So those rain chances, they'll continue to go up as we head into the next couple of days. I'll have the details on that coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, thank you very much. A former Central Kentucky coroner who admitted to stealing from state police learned his punishment today. John Goebel was sentenced to a year of home detention despite a recommendation of a 6-month to 12-year prison sentence. He will also serve 2 years probation. Goebel pleaded guilty in connection to a 5-year case involving the theft of state police weapons and ammunition. In a letter to the judge, Goebel said it was a case of extremely poor judgment and said he followed the advice of friends he now knows led to illegal acts.
Very sad that the last chapter in his professional occupational career is this. You know, you don't judge a book by the last chapter, so I hope they don't judge John Goebel by the most recent events in his life. He did a lot of good for a lot of people.
U.S. District Judge Gregory Van Tatenhove said he took into account John Goebel's health, his taking responsibility, and the need for punishment in handing out the sentence. Dueling speeches today between President Joe Biden and House Republicans highlight stark differences between the two parties heading into the midterm elections. The GOP laid out its policy objectives if they take back the House. Afterwards, the president came out swinging against their plan, calling it thin. Meanwhile, former President Trump is making a big financial push to get his candidates over the finish line in November. CBS's Deborah Alfarone has more on all this from the White House.
At a political rally in Washington, President Biden laid out what he believes is a stark choice less than 50 days before the midterm elections.
This November, you have to choose to be a nation of hope, unity, and optimism, or a nation of fear, division, and darkness.
Ahead of the president's speech, House Republicans, led by Kevin McCarthy, were in the battleground state of Pennsylvania to unveil their commitment to America. It's a roadmap for GOP legislative priorities with 4 pillars: a strong economy, public safety, individual freedom, and government accountability.
On our very first bill, we're going to repeal 87,000 IRS agents.
In his speech, President Biden slammed the House GOP plan, which he said was, quote, thin with little or no details.
We didn't hear him mention the right to choose. We didn't hear him mention Medicare. We didn't hear him mention Social Security.
McCarthy could be poised to take the Speaker's gavel if Republicans can flip just a few House seats.
I challenge the president to join with us. Let's go across the country and let's debate what his policies has done to America and our plan for a new direction.
Former President Trump has also been pushing for big GOP gains this November and continues to stump for his picks across the country. CBS News has confirmed the former president is also launching a new political action committee, or PAC, to give Trump-endorsed candidates a multi-million-dollar boost heading into the final campaign stretch. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Tonight, former President Trump will headline a political rally for candidates he's endorsed in North Carolina. Around the same time, President Biden will host a concert with Sir Elton John at the White House. The concert, called A Night When Hope and History Rhyme, is expected to be televised at a later date, and expected attendees include teachers, frontline workers, and LGBTQ advocates. A Republican congressman who is up for re-election this November is not likely to be charged in a Justice Department investigation looking into whether he violated sex trafficking laws. The Washington Post reports a group of DOJ prosecutors have made a recommendation to not charge Florida Representative Matt Gaetz, in part due to credibility issues with 2 key witnesses. The 40-year-old has been under investigation since late 2020. with a focus on his alleged relationship with a 17-year-old girl years earlier. Despite having continually denied the allegations, earlier this week it was revealed an aide to former President Trump testified to the January 6th committee that Gaetz had asked for a preemptive presidential pardon relating to the probe against him. Yesterday, a federal judge in Arizona ruled the court cannot block a House committee subpoena for the cell phones of Republican State Chair Kelly Ward and her husband Michael. A subpoena was sent to the Ward's phone company earlier this year regarding specific phone records from late 2020 through January 2021. In their lawsuit against the House committee looking into the January 6th siege on the U.S. Capitol, the Wards say their constitutional rights are being violated. However, the judge ruled the legal concept sovereign immunity prevents her from taking action against the lawmakers. The White House is taking steps it hopes will help combat the country's drug problem. Officials announced nearly $1.5 billion will be used to fight substance abuse. The grants will be used to fund prevention, treatment, recovery, and harm reduction services. Just more than $100 million is earmarked for expansion in rural communities. The Biden administration is also planning to host a National Recovery Month summit that will celebrate those who are recovering from substance abuse. Officials say the U.S. has seen 108,000 fatal drug overdoses during the past 12 months. That breaks down to 1 death every 5 minutes. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, football season, of course, is underway, and this year fans are paying top dollar to party in the parking lot.
Plus, it's absolutely beautiful out here this evening in downtown London. Will that continue into the weekend? Those details next.